Hey, good morning, YouTube. This your boy STL coming at you from St. Louis.
Incoming call from Row Pub.
Turn that down. I had a question posed to me by a very good friend of mine, and he went on to ask me, did I feel that Black America or Native Americans were as equally as patriotic as white America? And he hates when I do this, but he asked me that question, and I turned around and gave him a question to ponder. I asked him, did he feel that America has given Black Americans and Native Americans a reason to be patriotic and to love this country wholeheartedly? Just a thought, just a question. He thought about it, you know, we both did some thinking about the issue and got back with each other later on that day. And he made me give my reasoning first because he asked the question to me first. So I went on to tell him that yeah, I think that most, or I can't say most, but a lot of Black America that I've came in contact with, I would feel that aren't as patriotic to the flag or to the United States as quote unquote white America. You know, I would agree that most people, Black people that I come in contact with, they're happy to live in America. They think that America is a better country than most. They would agree to that. But as far as willing to die for the country and things like that, and want to go fight in the military and willing to actually die for this country and what it stands for, most Black people that I come in contact with, that I've known, I would agree that they do not share the same enthusiasm about the country as a lot of white America does. I would agree. But I went on to explain to him why I think that's, which I will say, I wish that we could love the country as the same as a lot of white Americans and have the same love for the flag and, you know, want to set the country on a righteous path. You know, it would be nice because it's going to take everyone. It's going to take concerted effort of all of us to change things and put things on a righteous path. But I also will say this, that this country really hasn't given Black people a whole lot to fall in love with. I mean, and people automatically think that you're referring to slavery or, you know, the treatment of Blacks during slavery era. No, that's not really what I was focused on in my thought process. Because slavery, what a lot of people who study history know, didn't start with America, didn't start with Black people, didn't start with white people enslaving Black people. Slavery's been going on a long time, and it were way more than Black people that were enslaved. Granted, in this country, there was the gist of chattel slavery was Black people being enslaved. That was the most harshest form of slavery that has existed to date. Now, that's true, but truth be told, I mean, the Moors enslaved Black people. They attacked half of Africa, enslaving people, selling people into slavery. The Moors have enslaved Europeans. They've enslaved white people. So, and that's just one example of pre-American slavery or pre-Western slavery. But anyway, it's off topic. The treatment of Black and Native American and brown people post-slavery is what seems to be a big problem to me. That's like, it's like America has went out of its way to project, especially Black America, in a negative light to justify the demonization and the targeting of Black people for whatever reasons. I mean, I'm sure they have multiple reasons for keeping us divided. You know, you make one group of people feel more privileged than the other, thus you keep them divided. They've been doing that in Africa, and basically all the countries around the world have two sets of people, and they keep them, the powers and power structure in place keeps them focused on the few differences they have versus all the similarities and the likes that they have about each other. So they focus on the differences and they just don't get along, you know. But America has went out its way to really like stereotype blacks, and you know, the way they did the Indians. And truth be told, frankly, this country was made, was gained with murder, deceit, thievery, and a host of other things. That's how this country was even acquired. So what do we expect, you know, what do we expect to come out of a country that was gained by those means, which most countries probably were? But this is great America that's so great, you know. So in saying that, you know, black people have been targeted through media sources, through government taking jobs out of black communities. When communities turn over to predominantly black, all the factories close down, all the jobs and the hiring go to different areas of the city or out of the country, what have you. And we all know when a man can't feed his family, the family is destroyed. The family structure just crumbles when a man can't provide for his family. So in saying that, you know, certain drug laws have been passed to, you know, keep black people considered felons, or a lot of illegal arrests have been made to get black Americans with arrest records, to where now you can't obtain a firearm. A lot of states you can't vote. It's just, as a black man, it just seems like the system constantly has a foot in your back. Not to make an excuse, but that's just how most black people feel. Whether people like it or can identify with it or not, that's just how most black people feel. So I feel it's hard for a person to overcome all these adversities and suddenly fall in love with the country that has perpetrated a lot of these things. You know, it's, I mean, history doesn't lie. Well, sometimes history lies. It depends on who's telling it. But it is what it is. I mean, people can be in denial and act like the country has been great to people of color, Native Americans, or black people. But truth be told, this just has not been the case. So, like I said, I just wanted to pose a question to YouTube, to anybody that may come across this video. Do you guys feel that black Americans are not as patriotic as white Americans in America? And if so, do you see a reason why, or do you feel they're justified in not being as patriotic? Or do you feel like, oh man, you know, it's all our country, and you know, this and that and that and this, and they have just as much opportunity as anybody else, and you know, and on, as generally saying, on and on and on. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that question out there and let, you know, put something on people's minds as if to why black America may not be as patriotic as we would like them to be. I would personally like to see everyone on one accord so we can get things done, get things changed, get things, you know, a lot of people say, you know, reinstate the Constitution and this and that. And okay, when the Constitution was written around that time, or in that time in history, it wasn't written for black people. I mean, it's just being honest. It wasn't written for black people in mind. So, and if so, laws and other amendments were amended to still hold black people in place. I mean, even after slavery was outlawed, there was so many laws and stuff put in place to keep us stuck. Sometimes, some people think we were worse off after slavery, as far as the laws were, because we weren't property anymore. There was no reason to protect black people, so to speak. There were no profits to be gained, so it was open season. But yeah, do you guys think that as a black man in America, reinstating the Constitution is something that black people are really concerned about based on how they were treated in those days when the Constitution was written? I mean, just asking, can you blame them for not being ecstatic about fighting for the country and dying for the country? So, this is your boy STL. Just throwing a question out there. Would love some feedback. Let me know what's up.